REITs are collapsing again. So half a year after the big collapse in late 2022, I think I get the sentiment, I get the feeling that REITs are collapsing again. Not sure if everybody gets the same feeling as me. But of course, in a crisis and people are selling everything, it's time to buy something. So I bought Mapletree Industrial Trust. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've already sold out of my REITs in the SCI index previously. And out of the REITs over there, I'm only interested in MIT and maybe MLT. I think the rest of the stuff is not attractive to me at all. Maybe another 10% drop. I'll start taking a look. But as of current the moment, I'm only interested in MIT. So I bought MIT in quite decent chunks actually. I think AI is real. I think the MIT is quite misunderstood by the investing community, and I think the analysts who have been pretty gloomy on this REIT has got it completely wrong as usual. So if you look at what happened for the REITs in the past 1 month, everything is down 6 to 7%, right? So on hindsight, it was a quite good decision to sell everything in what 2 months, 1 or 2 months ago. So selling a bunch of on a bunch of cash. I'm quite happy to slowly buy back everything. Of course, starting with MIT, which I already started on the last day of May actually. So I further bought more MIT on the 8th of June at 2.21. So why 2.21? Well, because the placement was at 2.212, right? So actually, I was quite surprised that the demand was very strong. 4.5 times covered, and they actually bought it at the top end of the issue range, 2.212. Very well received actually from the investing community. I had thought with the gloom and around REITs there will be a softer demand, but the demand from the institutions was very strong. So I was quite happy to just patiently wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for stupid people to do stupid things, and they sold it below 2.212. So if the institutions are happy to buy it here, I'm quite happy to buy it here. And then after that, just 1 day after that, boom, 2.18. So I bought it at 2.18 again. Well, actually, so it was quite a good decision to sell everything. Because without the cash pile, I wouldn't have the cash to take advantage of the sell down. So quite happy with the purchases to replenish and buy back the stuff that sold MIT. I'll look to further buy on it though. MIT. I think this is the stuff that I want to really accumulate in this downturn. So where am I looking to do it? Actually, look at technical analysis. This stuff is trading pretty much closer to the troughs. So at the 2.18, this is trading like in 2019 levels, right? So we are going back to 3 years back in time. Good old SGX, everything keeps calling all the time. At the depths of the gloom in the COVID in March 2020, this stuff went to like 210, right? And then in end 22, people were fearing and mass selling, and this stuff reached like 213. So I'm looking at 210 at the next support level, 210 to 213, and I think I'll take a bite at these levels again. And if this stuff continues to trade lower, I'll of course continue to buy. But of course, if this stuff starts trading over here, I think the other stuff will be trading even lower. So by then there'll be a huge buffet of REITs for up for selection. So I'm not sure what will happen next, but I'm pretty sure over here and over here, this level, I'll be buying more MIT. So this stuff I'm gonna accumulate pretty aggressively actually. Originally I was quite gloomy about MIT as well, which was why I sold everything earlier in this year. Especially looking at the data center expiry profiles that they have over here. I was concerned though, because in the early part of this year, people were concerned about the tech layoffs and downsizing of requirements and stuff. And on top of the what I thought was the wrong pricing from the markets in terms of rate hikes and potential recession coming. I was concerned about this expiries in the US from data centers and the lease renewals from the industrial properties that they have in Singapore, as well as rate hikes, right? But everything kind of changed with this AI boom. If you look at what's happening, there's a big boom in AI, generative AI, and I think this AI thing is not a fad. I think it's not like something that is talked about only. I think it's very real. If you talk to programmers and computer programmers, this stuff is generative AI. It's helping to improve the productivity of programmers big time, man. I personally see how the programmers use it, and it's amazing. So I think this stuff is not a hype. I think it's real, and I think this is going to generate demand for data centers in a multi-year wave. If you look at for example, what Karl Bass says, this famous guy, hedge fund manager in the US, he says that people are developing data centers and they don't even get them developed before the FANG companies start leasing them for long term, right? And I think this is very, very real because with this generative AI stuff, there needs a lot of servers with a lot of GPUs produced by NVIDIA, and therefore there's gonna be a demand for space in the data centers. And this stuff actually like kind of came from nowhere, right? So people did not plan for this generative AI thing to just erupt, and all of a sudden you have this big source of demand. And I think this is a multi-year demand. If you look at what Stanley Druckenmiller said, he bought a big bunch of Nvidia and also Microsoft, and I think this is gonna be a 2 to 3 year player. In fact, if you look at if you listen to the interview, it says this stuff is reminds him of the tech boom in 2020 and stuff in the late 2010s. And this stuff is gonna carry on for like years. So it's not a 6 month thing. It's a 2 to 3 year, multi-year thing. So I think the demand for data centers in the US is actually stronger than what most of the analysts actually expect. Of course, the analysts should really start watching the news and understanding what's happening in the world before talking a bunch of crap. Another thing is the debt maturity profile in the view of rising interest rates. I think this guy has it pretty well covered. Just 10% over the next 2 years expiring, and well, but it's nothing much, right, compared to most of the other REITs. There will be an impact from rising rates, though, from the IRS's expiring and then the debt refinancing. But I think this guy has it pretty much well under control. Furthermore, if you look at the developments in Kallang, this stuff has TOP. And if you look at the valuation, is 291 million. And if you assume a 7% stabilized yield, so this stuff is probably gonna generate something like $20 million of income rental on a fully committed basis, right? So right now it's 44%, so that's roughly $10 million of a rental to be recognized progressively this year, right? So I think this stuff will go a very long way to offsetting the higher interest rates from refinancing the debt. So I think in general, I do expect them to be able to keep the DPUs, maybe a small downward bias, but at current 2.18 price levels, it's still yielding you a 6.2% yield, which I think is quite reasonable, especially given that I don't believe the data center story is over. In fact, I think it's going to continue to grow, and I think the industrial properties in Singapore is still going to hold up pretty well, even with the probability of a recession. If this stuff starts trading at 2.1 and below, we're looking at maybe a 6.5% dividend yield, which I think is very attractive, given this solid name. And of course, viewers of this channel should know that I really like the manager for this REIT, very responsible. So I think this blue chip name, given this yield and these levels with prospects which is quite positive, is attractive to me at least.